Hello there and then welcome to a brand new video. Let's have Beyond Numbers where we learn maths the easy way. Now in this lesson we are looking at expressing numbers to a specified significant figure. How do you express numbers to a specified significant figures? In real life, sometimes when we do our calculation, for instance, if you want to look for the distance from Earth to the moon, it is so long that you wouldn't want to write all the numbers. If you want the population of a country, it is too much that you wouldn't want to write everything. Hence, we need to learn how to write numbers into specified significant figures. You see, and that is what we want to do in this lesson. I do assume that you have gone through the first lesson that talks about the rules to determine how many significant figures you have in a particular number. And I also want to believe that you've also gone through the lesson on rounding, because this lesson will be based on those two for you to enhance your understanding. So without assumption, let's quickly go into this. So to express a number to a specified significant figure, these are what we need to do. They are just 3 steps, very, very simple and straightforward. So you want to express it as one significant figure, 2, 3, or what have you. First, identify the digit you want to keep. So you've been given the numbers. Identify, okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. I want to keep these digits, right? So after identifying, then you now look at the digit immediately after it. That is to its right. You see, over here we are applying the rounding concept. So if it is 5 or more, then you round up. But if it is 4 or less, you keep it the same. You see, then you replace all the digits with zeros. That is if it is whole numbers, or if they are decimals, you just drop them. Let's pick some examples, and I do hope with these examples you'll be able to appreciate these rules. Now, our first question is what you see over here, and I would want us to start with some whole numbers. Okay, so we start with some whole numbers, after which we look at some decimals as well. So for what we have here, it is actually in 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 significant figures. In our question, we have to express it as one significant figure, 2, and then 3. You see, and you remember the rules of significant figures. So if we want one significant figure, it means we want it to end here alone. You see, now the rule says we should look at the digit immediately after it. If it is 5 or more, then we round up. Now this here is the digit after it, and it is obviously 5 or more. So rounding up simply means we'll have to add 1 to the 4 over here. So that in that case, it becomes a 5. So 5, then we change all of this to zeros. So 0, 0, 0. Easy. So 4,678 to one significant figure is actually 5,000. And you remember we said for trailing zeros of whole numbers, they are not significant. You see, but we don't omit them. That is how come we still want to maintain these, even though they are not significant. You see, very simple. Let's look at how we can express this also in two significant figures. So the number we have, once again, is 4,678. This is our first significant figure, and this is also our second significant figure. But we want to know if this is still standing or not. And how do we do that? We look at the number immediately to its right. It is 5 or more. Hence, we are allowed to add 1 to this over here, so that it becomes 7. So instead of 4,006, we have 4,007. Then the remaining here, we change them to what? Zeros. So it becomes 4,700. And that is it in two significant figures. Now we look at our last one. That is in three significant figures. So write 4,678. First significant figure, second significant figure, and third significant figure. Now this here is what 5 or more, and hence we are allowed to add 1 to this digit over here, so that it becomes 4, 6. Instead of 7 now, we have our 8. And the last digit here becomes a 0. It simply means 4,678 in three significant figures is actually 4,680. So this is it for the whole numbers. Very, very simple and straightforward, right? Let's look at some examples for decimals. So taking this decimal as an example, it says we should express 0.004563 to, first of all, one significant figure, 2, and then 3. Now we should ask ourselves, how many significant figures do we even have here? This, and this are all leading zeros. And we know from our previous lesson that leading zeros of decimals are not significant. But then this here, which is a non-zero digit, is significant. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this has just 4 significant figures, you see. Hence, if we want to start our count, it always from here. We want one significant figure. The digit that comes after it is what? 5. And we said if the next digit is 5 or more, then we have to add 1 to the preceding digit so that it becomes 5. You see, so this, to what do you call it, one significant figure, is actually going to be a 0.00. You see, we don't omit this ones. So 0.005. Now, unlike the whole numbers you see here, where we still repeated all this to be zeros, you remember that we said trailing zeros of decimals are significant. So as you have written this as 5, if you want to change the remaining here to 0, 0, 0, then you have still maintained 1, 2, 3, 4 significant figures. Why? Because the rule says trailing zeros of decimals are significant. But we just want one significant figure, so we don't bring it. So do you see the difference? When it comes to decimals, we actually omit the zeros that trails. But for whole numbers, as you saw here, we don't omit. Because if you omit, you change the value of the whole digit. Now, to two significant figures, we still have a 0.00. So since we are talking of two significant figures, then it simply means this 4 here can still be written. Then this is our second significant figure. We want to see if it is going to be rounded up or it is still maintained. Now, the number that comes after it is 6. We said if we check the next digit and it is 5 or more, we add 1. It actually satisfies that condition. So it means we are going to add 1 to the 5 so that it becomes 6. And we don't write the remaining as zeros. We keep it as it is. Then for our last one here, we have our 0.004563, right into the third significant figure. So 4 can still be written, which is our first significant figure. 5 can also be written. But out of the 6, does it maintain its 6ness or it becomes another number? And that depends on this here. We said if it is 5 or more, it goes up. If it is less, then we don't add anything at all. And since it is less, it satisfies that condition. So 6 remains just as it is. Easy. So by using these laws over here, you can see that we've been able to express the numbers in the specified significant figures. If there's any issue of concern, you can always let me know at the comment section. Due to time, I'll just end with these examples and give out some exercises you can try on your own. So these are the exercises I would give for you to try to do just to test your understanding. You can do it at your own pace. Let's for whole numbers, and we have specified significant figures here. You have to change them into. Then these are for decimals. You see, and we have mixed for decimals and whole numbers. Once again, this is Hub Beyond Numbers. And if you would want to receive notification on subsequent video uploads, you can always choose to subscribe. I do hope this lesson was helpful. If it was, you can always choose to like and then leave a comment down there. See you in our next lesson. Stay safe and then bye for now.